you wanna say, but don't forget the role I used to play. When you feel defeated, like your heart's been cheated, just think about me like before.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Leen Show. Little different inflection there.
Nice.
Right? Episode 11 of the Leen Show. Welcome,
So
guys.
crazy.
Thank you for listening. I know, right?
Double hockey
Feels like just
sticks.
yesterday. We recorded 3 episodes that never came out because we had tech issues. Now here we are. How about that?
I was actually thinking about that like 30 minutes ago. I was like, what do we have in the vault? Because every now and then I'll be like taking notes or thinking of something to talk about, and I'm like, oh, we talked about this. But I'm like, wait a second. Though that was in the episode that literally never aired. So I'm like, we've got some stuff in the vault.
Yeah, I would say we've come a long way from the first clip we ever put out. I had to re-record my lines as if it was live, but they weren't because I had a tech issue. And then the next clip, the tech issue was just still there, and I just hoped people wouldn't notice. And then I got texts from people being like, "Dude, you're better than this. Like, why are you echoing?" And I'm like, "I fixed it. I don't know what to say now.
Yeah.
But I fixed it going forward."
A little behind the scenes for you
Technology
guys.
is fun.
Yeah. But we're here.
Even if you like understand it, you don't understand it.
Shout out. For real. But we made it.
Yeah, we made it. Kathleen, how are you doing today? What's on your mind?
I'm good. I'm actually going to a music festival this weekend in St. Augustine. So I'm leaving tonight. I'm pretty excited. It's a long drive. It's like a 6-hour drive. So for the first time ever, I am using Audible. Shout out Amazon. And downloaded a book for me and my boyfriend Sam to listen to. I don't know if you've ever like listened to a book on tape. I haven't. So it's my first experience.
I had one experience where I was like, I had like 2 or 3 days where I'm like, I think I was like 19 or 20, and I'm like, I should get into like self-help stuff. I should read some nonfiction. And I listened to like half this book about like how introverts become extroverts or something, some bullshit like that.
Right.
And I listened to it. I'm like, this is nothing. This is like absolutely nothing. This is just like, if you're an introvert, find ways to make you feel comfortable. It's like, well, I don't need you to tell me that. Like, I can just figure out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not even really like a huge introvert. I was just like, oh, this is interesting.
No,
for
sure. It's really interesting you make that point, because me and Sam were having this conversation basically when we were deciding what we were going to buy, because we were like, let's listen to a book on tape. He started off being like, let's just buy one of the Harry Potters. And I was like, no, that's so stupid. Like, I've read Harry Potter, amazing books, but I've read them over and over and over again. Like, if I'm going to spend money to listen to a book on tape, like, it needs to be something new. So he went down that route first and was like, sorry guys, a little phlegmy today. He went down that road first and was like, should we do like a self-help book or whatever? And we both were like, honestly, like, the problem with like a self-help podcast or a self-help book is, just like you said, the advice is always insanely generic. Like, so generic, it's almost like, what am I getting from this? Like, I could not imagine sitting in a 6-hour car ride, like listening to a self-help podcast or a self-help book. Like, I could never. So long story short, we bought the Throne of Glass series, not Game of Thrones, Throne of Glass. It's the same author that wrote the series that's like insanely popular right now about fairies. It's like, what is it? It's like a thorn of rose and glass or something like. Hang on, let me just look it up.
None of that sounds like real book titles.
No, you've seen it.
None of that sounds real.
Hang on. Like a court of thorns and roses. I'm gonna send you this link right now, because you try and tell me that you haven't seen a girl post on her Instagram that she's reading this book. Like, they're literally insanely popular. And this is the second series that Sarah J. Maas, or whatever her name is, has written. Her first series is a Throne of Glass. And so we bought the first book to that, and that's what we're going to listen to. But tell me you haven't seen a girl post on Instagram that she's reading that book with those book covers.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll just say yes.
Well,
I'll just say yes.
maybe
Sarah J. Maas?
Yeah, Sarah J. Maas.
Okay.
So the first series she wrote, A Throne of Glass, that's what we bought.
What's it about?
I didn't read too much because I didn't want to spoil it, but it's fantasy genre, which, like, I'm super into, obviously, like Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, all that good stuff. I think it's sort of like a, alternate reality kind of book where this girl or this creature, whatever, kills a deer, and it's like the number one law that you can't break, like you can't kill a deer, and she gets captured like by the people that run that land, and it's like her origin story of like becoming this warrior and escaping, and there's magic and there's fairies and it's just fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all like fantasy, but then there'll be like a character that's like Mr. Grump, and it's just like Trump, right? That's like what they all do, right? They'll throw in like a US presidential candidate or like a figure in the book.
LOL.
And be like, still fantasy.
Just added political commentary. I don't know, actually. I mean, I don't know much about this author. I'm sure that's a possibility. I know that the second series, the one I've been saying that every girl is posting about, A Court of Thorn and Roses, is like an insanely steamy romance. So that was kind of my first, like, I was like, oh, maybe we'll do this. And I was like, Sam's not going to be into that. So I was like, let's go less romance, more assassin. So it's called The Assassin's Blade. Like, the series is called A Throne of Glass. God, I keep wanting to say Game of Thrones. A Throne of Glass, and the first book is called The Assassin's Blade. I'm actually really excited.
Okay.
I'm really excited. And I've never listened to a book on tape, so we'll see how my ADHD plays out.
Who's narrating it? Do you know?
No, I didn't look. I hope it's
Special celebrity narration.
Yeah, I hope it's someone famous. I'm not sure. I was watching something the other day. I don't even remember what it was. And literally, I was like, is that Loki? And it was Tom Hiddleston. Like, Tom Hiddleston was narrating the entire thing. And I was like, damn. Loki.
How about that?
Yeah.
A Court of Glass by Sophie Turner. Narrated by Sophie Turner.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
She's British, isn't she?
Yeah, super British.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
British. Yeah.
So I guess like we don't have to talk about this that much, please. Please, we don't have to talk about this that much. But I don't know if you saw so basically Joe Jonas is like hiding their kids' passports.
Yes.
And so they can't go back to the UK.
Yes.
And they're stuck in America.
Yes.
That's not cool.
No, it's not. And it actually reminded me, you probably won't know this actress, but I know some of the listeners will, especially my mom. Shout out my mom. Kelly Rutherford, who plays Serena Vanderwoodsen's mom in Gossip Girl. She had kind of a similar situation where she divorced her husband, but she married someone that was from Italy or some other country in Europe. So her kids are half American, half whatever the other ethnicity was. And so when they got divorced, because of the laws in his country, she literally could not they were not allowed to come to America, basically. Even though she had custody, they were not allowed to come to America. So she was only allowed to visit them for a certain amount of time. So it was a really shitty situation. I'm surprised again, I think and I'm we're not going to talk about it. Of course, we're sitting here talking about it. I think it all just plays back into his PR team and him trying to paint her as this horrible mother. So he's oh, I'm going to keep the kids. I don't trust you around the kids. And in TV shows and in life, 99% of the time, custody goes to the mom. Literally 99% of the time. So it's crazy that he's doing this. I feel bad for her.
Yeah. Did you see do you believe that she found out about the divorce through the media? Do you actually is that true? I've heard that being thrown around. I don't really know what to believe on either side. But that's kind of wild.
I actually do believe that. Yeah. I do believe that. I've made a pretty hard judgment on Joe Jonas at this point. My opinion of him has just plummeted. And I kind of feel it's oh, obviously it wasn't just a divorce that came out of nowhere. I'm sure they had talked about it. But that's the thing about divorce. You can talk about it as long as you want. At some point, someone has to file. For it to become legit, at some point, one of the people has to file. So yeah, I totally could see him just waking up one morning and being I'm going to file and then tell her after. And the paparazzi just got there first. Just when, well, this is sad, but just when Kobe Bryant died, TMZ literally leaked it before his family found out. Like it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I guess, like, did he just think that, like, the Disney fangirls of, like, 2007 would just have his back no matter what? He could just do whatever. Was that, like, the thought? A little ego thing?
I don't know. This is like it's turning into a really nasty divorce, and it seems like it's for no reason. Like, again, I think he's just desperate for any type of attention and is clinging to being relevant. I mean, yeah, like, the Jonas Brothers are selling out their shows, whatever. But, like, I don't know. I think it's just desperation.
Yeah.
But
just like wanting to get back in the headlines.
yeah, wanting to get back in the headlines.
Thing.
And I mean, Sophie's got her own strategy because she's out there hanging out with mother, your favorite.
Okay, yeah.
Lee hates
that's really cool.
Lee hates when I say that about Taylor Swift. So yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to bring up today. Obviously, I'm sure people have seen it, but Sophie Turner and Taylor Swift had like one of those classic Taylor Swift staged hangouts where they're like, let's go here and let's walk out the door at this time, and the paparazzi's going to take a picture of us, you know, holding hands or walking arm in arm. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know Taylor Swift history, which I'm sure everybody knows this, but basically she dated Joe Jonas, obviously, back in the day. She dated everybody. She wrote a couple songs about him that are pretty popular, particularly Better Than Revenge. That's like a diss at Gigi Hadid or whatever for stealing Joe Jonas. And after all this divorce stuff was released, Sophie and Mother had a little scheduled hangout. And it's like, to me, I guess the question I wanted to pose to you, Lee, I know you hate the whole mommy thing, but it's like, what do you think about the staged hangouts? Like, do you think that they're Taylor's idea? Because we've talked about this on the show before. We know she's petty. Like, she's even admitted that she's petty. Like, she does things just to be petty, and, like, that is a known fact. Or do you think it's, like, her PR team being like, oh, my God, like, this is perfect, Taylor. Like, literally, this is perfect. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, here's another theory. Maybe, like, every single time that she just goes outside, she just gets her picture taken regardless. So if she does literally anything, it'll seem staged. That's a theory. What about that?
I mean,
do you really think she has a mastermind team? Like,
yes.
She does have a mastermind team. Yes, that's not what I'm saying. But, like, do you really think that, like, she was texting Sophie Turner or her team and was like, oh my God, okay, meet up at this place in New York, and then we're going to walk down this street and walk into this restaurant, and we're going to, like, leak to the paparazzi, hey, we're going to be here at this time, make sure you get your picture? Or do you think it was literally like Taylor was like, oh, this sounds juicy, I need some inspiration to, you know, write a classic Taylor Swift ballad, so I'm going to steal, because I don't know if she does that really, like, where she just writes about other people's relationships. Maybe that's her new angle.
Probably.
You know?
Yeah, I absolutely, and like, I don't care if this makes me seem like dumb or like conspiracy theorist. I actually do think that stuff like this is staged. I really do. Why would you? And my point was, they've never been in the same circles before. They've never hung out before. Obviously, when she was married to Joe Jonas, they would stay even farther away from each other, because why would you, not like it's that big of a deal, but why would you hang out with someone that your husband used to date? Like, it's not, and dated very publicly, you know what I mean? Like, why would they all of a sudden after the divorce be like, you know what? We share something in common. Let's hang out. Like, it just doesn't seem like authentic at all to me. It seems so staged and so just like petty and just literally like for likes. I mean, whatever, no judgment, I guess, but...
So you're saying a 33-year-old and a 24-year-old don't just go out and get margs and hang out all the time? That's not a common thing that happens?
But, like...
Because no, it's not.
But they literally weren't friends at all until the divorce stuff started coming out, like, 2 weeks ago. And now they're, like, immediately hanging out. It's like, why? What do they have in common other than Joe Jonas? Like, and that's the weird thing.
Okay, let me ask you this: does Taylor Swift have any friends, like people in her life that she can like go to and be like, "Hey, do you want to just like kick back and watch a movie tonight?" You get to a level of fame where that just doesn't exist.
I actually do think that's Selena Gomez to her. Like, I've always heard and seen that they're like pretty authentic best friends. Like, they're like pretty authentic best friends. But we can drop it, guys. I'm not gonna spend 30 minutes talking about Taylor Swift. I am just I am just on the side of belief that these types of things are staged. That Sophie Turner did not just miraculously hit Taylor Swift up or vice versa and be like, let's hang out for any reason other than to be petty about the Joe Jonas thing. Which, like, whatever. I'm supporting them, whatever. Like, I'm not on his side. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to drop it.
Well, maybe, I don't know if you saw this, but, like, I just saw this, like, through, like, osmosis on Twitter, but, like, people were talking about there's, like, this, like, vault track on 1989 called Slut.
Yes.
Right? What if that's about Sophie Turner and she's just turning on her? Maybe she's going into her villain era, villain mode.
I mean,
that's a thought.
I mean, yeah, that's a thought, but
maybe it's about Joe and he's a male slut.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Damn, in another life.
I don't know.
In another life, you'd be a Swiftie, Lee.
No, I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
All right.
Well, the main reason why I'm not really a Swiftie is A, because I have a little self-respect for myself, but B, because I mostly listen to rap. That's like my genre of choice. Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of rap and rappers, Tory Lanez got caught in a little oopsie a couple years ago. Who amongst us hasn't had a night that they regret? Who amongst us hasn't made a mistake, when they drank a little too much?
Exactly.
However, most of those mistakes don't involve shooting at one of the most famous female rappers in the world. At Kylie Jenner's house. Those aren't really the mistakes that I'm familiar with. But in Tory's case, that is what happened. And he's been in jail for a couple of weeks now after the sentencing. Mm-hmm. And he looks terrible. Yeah. Looks awful. His hairpiece, turns out they do not let you keep up your hairpiece in prison. Sucks. Turns out they kind of just let that shit go by the wayside.
Snatch your wig.
So, Kathleen, give us the scoop. What has he been eating in prison? The fans are dying to know. They're going, man, what does this guy eat? How does he look so good?
So first, what was and this story is going to come full circle, guys. So I'm going to preface it with this. Stay with me, all right? Stay with me. If you're tempted at some point in the story, be like, I can't do this. Don't skip. Just hang with me because it's going to come full circle. Mm-hmm. Just stick in it with me. That's what I'm asking. One thing I'm asking of you guys. Stay there with me. So first off, my dumbass, I'm reading this story and I'm like, why is Tory Lanez in jail? I didn't even remember. I of course, like, I didn't even remember that he shot at Megan Thee Stallion at Kylie Jenner's house. I was like, oh, like, I need to look up. I was like, I gotta be, Lee likes me to be prepared. So I gotta have my facts right. So I literally Googled, like, why is Tory Lanez in jail? And then I started dying laughing because I was like, oh my God, like, I should have known that. Anyway.
Can we go back just really quick? Can we just go back to, like, 3 weeks ago, you DMing me going, like, why is Tory Lanez going to jail? This was like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean, why?
Yeah, no, and I was gonna insert, I was like, I'm pretty sure Lee was the one that told me, but, yeah, so, I just, whatever, I'm misinformed. We know this, like, we know this on the show.
No, we've talked about that. It's better for the show if you're not informed.
Yeah, it's better for the show, exactly. Like, the show wouldn't be funny if I knew anything about anything. Anyway, so since he's Tory Lanez, he's a rapper, he's a famous person, he's a celebrity, they're checking in on him because he's in a big boy prison. So they're checking in on him, and after his first couple of weeks, they released some of the food that he's been eating. Okay. Mm-hmm. So typical prison food, his breakfast consists of oatmeal, maybe a piece of toast, some coffee, stuff like that. His lunches are on the simple side, sloppy joes, bologna sandwiches.
Wait, can you slow down? I'm taking notes. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. The lunches consisted of your typical simple sandwiches. You got your sloppy joes. You've got your bologna with mustard. And this doozy. Tory's lunches. Tory's this is straight from TMZ, guys. Straight from TMZ. Facts. Okay. Tory's lunches alternate between bologna sandwiches and cheese sandwiches, aka American cheese on plain bread.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Now, guys.
This is big. This is big stuff.
If you know me at all, this is a test for my closest.
And they don't.
This is a test. This is a test for my closest friends and family right now. If you know me at all, you know how big of a deal this is to me because I love a classic cheese sandwich. And I think this might be, I've talked about this before, and I think it's in the vault. Like we were mentioning earlier, I think that this conversation is in the vault. But I get made fun of constantly for my cheese sandwiches. And I guess I've got to throw the towel in because they are serving my cheese sandwiches in prison. So my delectable, tasty snack is being served for lunch in prison. So basically, a cheese sandwich is exactly how they describe. You take a piece of white bread. It has to be white bread. You take a slice of Kraft American cheese. It has to be Kraft American cheese. You take your other slice of white bread, and then you just smash it to smithereens, as smashed as you can get it, so that the cheese and the bread become one, and that's it. You don't toast it. You don't heat it up.
So follow-up question.
Yeah.
Sorry, Leen South, the Leen Show follow-up question.
Yeah.
Does that, okay, this is a two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
Are you currently incarcerated in prison, Kathleen? Yes or no?
I would say no. It feels like it
Okay.
sometimes, but ultimately no.
Okay, number two, does it not concern you at all that the food that you choose to eat as a free citizen is the same food that's being fed to prisoners who attempted murder?
I don't know. Concern is a tricky word when it comes to this. I don't think it concerns me. I think it would concern others, aka my friends and family. So with that said,
Okay.
I am introducing my first ever segment. It's probably gonna get killed after this first one. So like I said, guys, hang in there with me. This is gonna make history, and then it's gonna be killed. This is my
Okay.
segment called "Would You Eat This?" So basically, I'm inspired by Tory Lane's story, right? I'm inspired by the cheese sandwich, and I'm made fun of constantly by my friends and families for weird snacks that I have created or weird snacks that I eat. So I'm going to list off just a couple of the quote-unquote weird snacks that I consume, and Lee is going to have to answer, would you eat that? Most of them, it's probably going to be no. But I'm also posing the same question to our listeners. So I'm going to explain the snack, how it's made, the presentation, all that good stuff. And you guys have to decide for yourself, would you eat that? All right. Are we ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay. Starting off hot. Cheese sandwich. I've already let you know what it is.
No.
Okay. No to the cheese sandwich. All right. Number 2. They're called Lil Chicken Sticks. And they're technically baby food. You find them in the baby food section. But what it is it is a child's version of Vienna sausages. And instead of being made out of whatever Vienna sausages are made out of, they're made out of chicken. Little chicken sticks. Would you eat that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
So let
not.
me send you a visual aid of what these look like.
I don't think that's going to help your case.
I don't either. But we need...
Okay, you specified the second one was baby food. So you're 100% sure the rest of it is adult human food, right? The rest of it is not you clarified this is baby food, but the rest of it, this is real food that adults should eat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's what you're saying?
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
the only baby food on there. I dropped a link, Lee, for you to check these out, just for background.
Kathleen, it's Gerber brand. It's Gerber. The it's a 6-month-old baby. It's meant for toddlers.
And I eat them I eat them pretty often.
Oh, that's so gross.
And it's hysterical.
Oh, that's gross.
My boyfriend Sam, he gags. He won't get near me. He literally won't get near me. When I open them, he literally is get those freaking away from me. All right, so we're 2 for 2 no's. This one, I think I think I'll have some people on my team for this one. The fruit roll-up ice cream trend. We've seen it. We all know it. We've seen it on TikTok. You take a fruit roll-up. You take a spoonful of your whatever, vanilla, mango. I like mango. Ice cream. You roll it up until it hardens. You eat that. Would you eat that?
Yeah, sure. If I was extremely unsober,
Okay,
yeah, it'd probably be pretty good. Yeah,
Okay.
fine. That's your best one so far.
Okay. Awesome. Good to know. Next,
Okay.
This is called a Belvita icing sandwich. Shout out to my sister Mary Bennett. You've eaten these with me. You know it's good. So if you're sitting there saying that you wouldn't eat this, I've seen you eat it with my own eyes. The Belvita icing sandwich. You take 2 Belvita biscuits. I like the cinnamon flavor. They have tons of different flavors. And you add Pillsbury vanilla icing on both of the biscuits. And then you stick them together. And it's a little crunchy icing cookie sandwich. If you don't know what Belvita biscuits are, I think it must be like some like British take, or it's an American take on like British biscuits. So they're like thin, like wafer like graham cracker like cookies. Would you eat that?
Again, that falls into the extremely unsober, might be pretty good category.
All right, cool.
Sober, it's just that's just a sugar bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's great advertising. Great advertising, man. It's a sugar bomb. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, look, like I would be concerned as your primary care doctor if I said, "What do you eat on a day-to-day basis?" and you go cheese sandwich, little chicken stick. Which a little chicken's protein at least.
Yeah,
I guess
that's what I tell myself.
Not horrible.
That's what I tell myself.
You know, okay. There's probably easier ways to get protein, but whatever works for you, fine. And yeah, okay, fine.
I'm like, hey doc.
Fine.
I'm like, yeah, doc. I start and end my day with a sugar bomb. She's like, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's a Belvita icing sandwich. She's like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, listen, doc. You take 2 Belvitas, you put icing in the middle, you stick them together, you eat it. It's a sugar bomb. Okay. What do you eat when you're drunk? Moving on. Hard-boiled egg toast. So you take a piece of wheat toast, you toast it, you spread mayonnaise on it, then you slice 2 hard-boiled eggs, and you put those on top of the mayonnaise toast, and then you can season it with salt, pepper, garlic. Would you eat that?
Yeah, that's not horrible.
Okay, sweet. Hell yeah. Sam, like, hates hard-boiled eggs, so that's, like, where I get most of the grief from for that one. All right, cool. So you'd eat that sober?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, cool.
Let's just say yes.
Okay, cool.
We're not grading on the curve of like would I enjoy eating it or not. It's like could I stomach it and get down the whole thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the grade that I'm grading on. So
that's fair. I mean, people like have looked me in the eyes and been like, "You're disgusting," like because of some of these snacks, and I always am just like, "Really? Like, is it that crazy?" All right, 2 more. Sour cream goldfish.
No.
You don't even want to hear the description? All right, for my sour cream fans out there.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You take the pizza flavored goldfish. It has to be pizza. It literally can't be any other flavor. It has to be the pizza flavored goldfish. And then you just take a bowl of sour cream and you just dip each goldfish directly into the sour cream. Mm-mm. Okay, so that's a no from Lee. I think I know some people that are listening that they'd be all over that. All right? My sour cream lovers. Okay. Last one. Last but not least. Salted chocolate milk. You take chocolate milk or dark chocolate almond milk if you're lactose intolerant, and you sprinkle a little bit of salt in there, and then like you like mix it all together, so it's kind of like a salty sweet chocolate milk.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sweet. That was probably
it's nothing crazy.
That was probably like the easiest one. All right.
Yeah.
That's the end of my segment, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stuck with me.
So, like, does it worry you at all that, like, you could potentially still be eating like this, like, into your 30s and 40s? Is that a possibility that you see, and maybe you find some complications with that?
I mean, yeah.
In the future?
I see diabetes type 2 is flashing in my brain right now because of, like, all of the sugar content. But I don't eat these things every single day. It's more so, like, those are, like, my guilty pleasure snacks, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not eating this stuff on, like, the day-to-day, so you guys don't really have to worry about me. If anything, it's just for my own sanity. Like, I was just curious to gauge the audience at what people think about these snacks.
Yeah, so, I would say that I don't think I could really see myself eating any of those things on my own will. I think the ice cream, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
The fruit roll-up.
Like, the thing is, a lot of these foods are very simple. So, like, without eating them, I'll know exactly what they taste like.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of things, like, people love talking about foods, and they'll be like, oh my God, you have to try this. And then it's just like 3 ingredients you've had before combined. It's like, I don't really have to try it to know what it like. I know exactly what this is gonna taste like because I've had these things individually. So in my mind, I can imagine what a pizza flavored goldfish covered in sour cream would taste like, and it does send a chill down my spine a little bit. But like I know what that would taste like.
It's funny because that's literally like the number one excuse that everyone gives me when I try to get them to try my cheese sandwich. They're like, I know what that's gonna taste like. I'm not trying it. And I'm like, because I always get mad. I'm like, don't knock it till you try it. And that's what everyone says. They're like, I know exactly what that's going to taste like.
So, Kathleen, I don't know if you heard about this, but did you hear about this like Rob Mercer poker conspiracy theory? Not really conspiracy theory, I guess, because it's proven to be wrong. But did you hear about this?
Yes, I did. Just a little bit.
So tell the class what you saw and what you heard about Rob Mercer, the poker player. I have an article pulled up to like.
Fact check me.
I hate the New York Post, but I have a New York Post article pulled up.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think they'd probably say some funny stuff about it. So
it's funny because when I was reading about it, I saw the New York Post article and I was like, Lee doesn't like the New York Post. And so I literally read a different like article about it. I don't even know. Well, actually, the original, like, it's like the Las Vegas Journal or whatever is the original publication that interviewed him when he came out and said that he did this. And then the New York Post was just writing about what the Las Vegas Journal said. So I actually found the original source this time instead of just reading it on the New York Post for TMZ. But yeah, so basically there's this poker player, Rob Mercer. I don't even know if he's like super known or not, but you know, he's a poker player. Was trying to enter the World Series poker tournament. It's a $10,000 buy-in. It took place like back in July, but this story like just came out like yesterday. So it's a $10,000 buy-in to get into this World Series, you know, poker tournament, whatever. So
World Series of Poker. It's the biggest poker tournament in the world. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Added context. Apparently, this is the biggest poker tournament in the world. So Rob Mercer.
Yeah, it's on ESPN. The finals are on ESPN. So sorry, go ahead.
No. You're good. We need the context. So this guy Rob Mercer starts a GoFundMe to raise the $10,000 for the buy-in and accomplish his dream of, you know, entering the Poker World Series, whatever.
World Series of Poker.
World Series of Poker. Thank you. World Series of Poker. WOSP. But this is under
WSOP.
the false...
Oh, this is why I love this show. It really is.
WSOP. World Series of Poker. Anyway, so he creates this GoFundMe under the false pretense of having colon cancer, but not just colon cancer, terminal colon cancer, which, let's be honest, most of the time colon cancer is terrible. It's like one of the nastiest cancers. It's actually one of the leading causes of deaths in American men, like over 40 or something like that. Back to the story. So he ends up receiving anywhere between $30,000 and $50,000 in donations on the GoFundMe. And so he clearly has enough money to go to the World Series of Poker tournament. World Series of Poker. On top of that, the Bellagio gave him a free suite to stay in because of his condition. And he recruited like multiple other famous poker players. You'd probably know their names. I didn't take the time to list them out. Other very popular poker players to like share his GoFundMe and like promote his story, this whole thing. He goes to the World Series of Poker, the WSOP. He plays. Months later, he's interviewed by the Las Vegas Journal, and he essentially admits to making everything up, like making the whole GoFundMe up, making the terminal cancer thing up, all of this stuff. So that's basically where the story was coming from. A couple of funny things that I wanted to point out. Number one, like, he literally had all of these people, like, advocating on his behalf. Like, if you're lying about something, like, setting up a GoFundMe is enough. Like, you have to be such an idiot to then recruit all of these other extremely famous people to promote your, like, fucking GoFundMe. You know what I mean? Two, he wasn't able to produce any medical records. So he was even more, like less legit. He couldn't produce any type of doctor's note. When they tried to like track down the doctor that he named, they couldn't find him. He was unresponsive. Basically, like, everybody like cracked this guy's code, whatever. He came out, he was a fraud. In the interview with the Las Vegas Journal, when he was asked about like giving the money back, whatever. I'm like butchering this story, like classic me, whatever.
No, I just thought of a great segment that we're gonna do from now on, and it's where you introduce a segment, and the segment's called Community Notes, where I just list out everything you got wrong and then correct it afterwards. So go ahead. It's in my head. So finish the story and then I'll correct you.
Okay, great. Ahead. Perfect. Thank you. So at the end of the day, he comes out, he does his interview with the freaking Las Vegas Journal. I was about to say Wall Street Journal. And when asked about, you know, reparations, are you going to give any of the money back? Like, this was literally fraud. He says, and quote, "I have no plans to repay the money since I believe I have undiagnosed breast cancer."
Okay.
He's a male, by the way. I know men can get breast cancer, but it's literally like less than 1% or something crazy like that.
Well, maybe he's just fat and has man tits. Yeah. And he's like, do you not see these boobs I have right here? Like, I can get breast cancer too.
Yeah.
Like, I've got B cups right here because I'm an overweight male. And I don't hit chest, right?
No, for sure. For sure. So I just thought, you know, we've talked about degenerate gambling on the show before. It's been a recurring theme when we talked about Phil. So I'm just like, what do you think? This guy, number one, has horrible karma coming to him. Number two, if he doesn't have breast cancer now, he's definitely getting it. Because he's lied not once, but twice about having cancer and terminal cancer. Like, you are actually going to get cancer now. Like, you literally just summoned the cancer gods and they struck you with a bolt.
Okay, so before I give my thoughts, community notes, new segment. It's again, this isn't like super significant. It's just like I love how like you get the point, but the details just kind of just flow off. I love it. He raised $12,500. The buy-in was $10,000. He had some private donations. He did get a free suite from the Bellagio. That's true. And it's the Las Vegas Review-Journal, not the Las Vegas Journal.
God.
But that's fine. That's not bad. That's not.
At least it didn't say the Wall Street Journal, which I was about to.
Yeah, I just thought I'd include that because I'm a stickler for details. And he didn't raise $30,000 to $50,000. He raised $12,500. Still a lot. My favorite little note from the New York Post article that I read is 2,500 of those donations came from a guy named Cody Daniels, who actually has colon cancer. Quote, well, I learned a $2,500 lesson, Daniels tweeted Wednesday. Sadly, my kindness was taken for weakness once again. Just a shame. That's all I can say. Hopefully GoFundMe peeps get their money back. Just sad, sad, sad.
Sad, sad, sad.
So
yeah, that is actually sad. He's like, God damn it happened again. Like, how many times have you been scammed, dude? Like, are you supporting a Nigerian princess? Is that mean?
Prince. But yeah, I love that. Yes, it's a Nigerian princess. Yeah.
I feel like that's a quote from The Office. They're like, Michael Scott's supporting like 20 Nigerian. You're right, it is princess. It's not
it was that's like the most famous email scam from like the early 2000s. Is like a Nigerian prince needs you to wire $50,000 or whatever.
True.
And then he'll send you back $100,000. So the only like real take that I have on the Rob Mercer thing, other than the community notes, which I will start doing, by the way, just like I'm jotting that one down for later.
Yeah.
Like that's a good. I like that idea. But my only thought on the Rob Mercer thing is, man, like you're playing a luck-based game. Poker, obviously, a lot of skill, whatever, but it's still gambling at the end of the day. Like the best player doesn't win the World Series of Poker every single year because you can just get shit hands.
Right.
Or like whatever you like you like have the second best hand you can have and another guy's got 2 aces and shit like that happens. So why are you tempting fate when you're a professional gambler? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What like I'm not saying karma's real or not, I don't know. But like why are you tempting fate if you're it's like I mean it's like being a sports gambler and then just like praying that every single player that you're playing against like tears their ACL or gets a concussion.
Yeah.
If you're rooting for injuries where you're like, God, yes, I made $100 on this one bet because this guy had such a gruesome knee injury he can't walk anymore.
Yeah.
That's why are you putting that out there?
For sure. It's like there's only so much luck that can go around in the world, and some people have more luck than others. Like I consider myself a really lucky person. Like not like, oh, like because I have a great friends and family. Like not not blessed, right? There's a difference between being blessed and being lucky. I'm blessed, but I'm also lucky in the sense
So what's
that,
your
like,
I'm dying to hear this.
No, like blessed is when it's like, oh, it's like I'm healthy, I'm happy, I have a great family, I have friends. Lucky is when like you just like you get the job interview. You know what I mean? Like if there's like a competition, like you're the one that like wins it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like in situations when, like, I put myself out there and, like, try a little bit, like, luck just does the rest for me, like, if that makes sense. And then I know people in my life that are really unlucky, where it's like they did every single thing right, and like they should have gotten something or they should have gotten in somewhere, and it's like they were just lacking that luck because I have all of it. So sorry.
That's got to be such a burden on you to just watch others be so unsuccessful while you're so successful, and just being like, I'm sorry, this is just how the world's made. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's got to be such a burden to live with.
No, I didn't mean it. No, honestly, that came off really bad. I guess I did kind of mean it that way, though. But the point of the story, like circling back to the gambler, is there's only so much luck that can go around. And like you already need luck to pull this off, to then lie about so many things, to then go public with your lie, to then switch it and be like, oh no, like I actually, like, I'm pretty sure I have undiagnosed breast cancer. Like you've wasted all of your opportunities for like fate or the universe to intervene and help you out.
Sure.
Like the universe is going to spit you back out.
Yeah, kind of like what that reminded me of in the moment is Deshaun Watson. This is like a 30-second sports, and then we're out. But Deshaun Watson is a quarterback. He plays for the Cleveland Browns. He has currently he's the highest paid player in NFL history.
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of my head or off the top of my head, but he's like 4 or 5 year contract. He's making about $40 to $50 million guaranteed over the next like 5 years. It was like the most lucrative contract in NFL history. And he got that after, well, you know, I think he was 26 years old whenever his thing happened. So just Google Deshaun Watson 26.
Okay.
Google it right now. Just Google Deshaun Watson 26. I'm not going to say what he did, but Deshaun Watson 26.
Could have guessed.
Do you see?
Yeah.
Did you see the result?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what he did. And he took about a 1.5 year break from the NFL. The NFL suspended him 6 games, and then there was a big public outcry like, why is he playing?
Right.
And then they're like, you're right, guys. 11 games. And then he came back and played last year. He was god awful. Statistically, maybe the worst quarterback in the NFL. And now this year, he is still statistically one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, even though he's the highest paid player in NFL history. Now, that could be an instance of, hey, maybe you shouldn't have gotten this in the first place.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like maybe that's just a little bit of the universe coming back around being like, maybe you don't get to be the best quarterback in the world anymore. Because he was like, I mean, on the field, objectively, he was very, very good. He played for the Houston Texans for a bunch of years before his again, he was Deshaun Watson 26. But before that happened, he was like a pretty respected guy, pretty quiet guy, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And then now he comes back, and it's almost like he kind of like sold his soul a little bit, you know, like
definitely
made a little deal.
Yeah.
And now no one wants to touch him, which is a common theme of him over the last couple of years. No one wanting to touch him. So
yeah, bad luck. Or not
I
luck,
hope
it's karma.
I hope one person laughed at that. I was trying to bring it around to something like that.
I laughed.
Anyway, Deshaun Watson 26. And you know, he sucks now. And so it's kind of like, is that what's going to happen to Rob Mercer now, where he's going to try to play in poker tournaments and he will just have he could play out of his mind. He could be so locked in, so dialed in, studies the tape, you know, knows all the combinations, freaking plays out of his mind perfect. But then like the other guy at the table who didn't lie about terminal cancer, that guy's just going to get 2 aces, or that guy's going to get a royal flush.
Yeah.
And just destroy Rob.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely. He needs to stay away from blackjack for sure. But yeah, I mean, just a shitty situation, a shitty guy, but I'm a big believer in the universe, so we'll wait and see how the universe takes care of this one. Just like it took care of Deshaun Watson, 26. Speaking
of a person being taken care of, I know you didn't see this because you said you didn't, but a big... I just say that because, like, you know, you're worried about mother and, like, oh, my God, you know. Did they go out for margaritas or martinis in New York City?
I don't know.
Did they do sake shots? Did they get sushi? What was their... And that's fine. That's your feed.
Yeah, that's my
That's
feed.
fine. It's catered to you.
Agreed.
So this is catered to me.
Cool.
So this was like a really big thing on Twitter the last couple days. People just shitting on this guy. I'm going to pull up the tweet right here. And you'll be able to see for yourself. So you see this? Why is Bohemian Grove trending? Oh, God. Okay, so the tweet is, if you're an audio listener, David Brooks, he's an op-ed writer for the New York Times. He tweeted out on September 20th, so that would be Wednesday night. He said, "This meal just cost me $78 at Newark Airport. This is why Americans think the economy is terrible." And what you're looking at is just background to foreground, back going forward. You see probably a double pour of whiskey, about half full on the rocks. Definitely a double, you'd think. And you see a burger on like a brioche style bun. You see 3 ketchup packets totally emptied. You see every single vegetable that was on the burger that came scraped off, and then a plate of crinkle cut fries. And he said, "This meal just cost me $78 at Newark Airport. This is why Americans think the economy is terrible." Readers added context they thought people might want to know. The restaurant has noted that 80% of this tab was his bar bill.
Of course.
And then you reach this tweet, which is the Facebook page of the restaurant. By the way, if you can see in the top corner right here in their profile picture, 1911 Smokehouse Barbecue. Their profile picture on Facebook uses the Twitter logo from, I think, 2010 and the Instagram logo that's like the camera from maybe 2013. So this Facebook page has probably been long dormant, and they got like, they probably found the password just to like make fun of this guy.
They had to set up 2FA. They like tried to log in again. They're like,
They're like, whose email is this? Oh, wait, it's the last managers. Give them a call. Hey, sorry, this is 1911 Smokehouse Barbecue. Like, we just got can you just tell us the code that they sent you? 35671. Okay, great. Thank you.
Literally.
Sorry, it didn't work. I had to resend the prompt one more time, please.
2FA is a fucking monster. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. So the Facebook post was, "Looks like someone was knocking back some serious drinks. Bar tab was almost 80%. He's complaining about the cost of his meal. Keep drinking, buddy. We get paid off everything." Very New York response.
Forget about it. Super savage.
They wanted to say like, "Keep drinking, you old fuck. I get paid off everything."
For sure. That's hilarious.
But
I love nothing more than when restaurants clap, or just brands in general. I love when brands clap back. I freaking live for that.
Yeah, and then also now they're offering a special called the Super Delicious Burger with fries and a double shot of whiskey for $17.78. The David Brooks special.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And they're actually they're actually charging $17. That's
Well, I think this is what it would cost normally. I think the only deal is, I think maybe like, I think the burger and fries is $17 on its own.
And that's completely normal for an airport when the economy is good or bad. Like
yeah,
that's another thing. This is it's stupid on so many levels, obviously, but it's so stupid because the airport is the worst place to be like, these prices are so terrible because of the economy. The airport is arguably the most expensive shopping you're ever gonna. I mean, the airport and maybe like Rodeo Drive and maybe like Fifth Avenue, New York, like the 3 most expensive places that you can shop. Like, the airport has always been expensive. Food is always overpriced in there. Water is like $5 and it always has been. Like, the economy is not, like, if anything, the airport is what's fucking stable right now. Like, airport prices is what's going to be stable right now. If anything is fucking stable in this economy, it's airport prices. Like, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah. So, like, just a guy who just wanted so desperately to make some nuanced point about the economy.
Right.
He's like, "Can you believe these burgers and fries?" And then everyone's like, "Dude, are you 9 years old? You scraped the lettuce and tomato off your burger and put 3 ketchup packets on it? Like, are you a child?
Yeah.
Like, who eats like that?"
For real. Adults that are scared of vegetables, like, scare me. Like, I get, like, not wanting an onion on your burger because that has a very strong taste. But, like, if you can't even bear, like, lettuce and tomato, man, straight to diabetes too.
Also, if you noticed, like, he took this picture and there's like 2 bites out of the burger and like maybe a fry taken. So did he even eat the whole meal, Or was he just like, is he like such like a, not to use the A word, but like, is he so like, I just want to drink so badly, but I know like I'm going to black out or feel like shit. So I'm going to eat like 3 fries and like 2 bites of a burger just so there's something nutrient rich in there. Not very nutrient rich, not very nutrient rich, because he scraped all the vegetables off of it. Also, it appears to be just a hamburger. There's no cheese. Didn't look like there's any cheese.
Sociopath.
Again, doesn't.
Sociopath.
Yeah. He's like, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm like, you are an alcoholic also.
Right. Right.
Like, you know, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, and it's like he's like, oh, I want to feel it, but I don't want to vomit on the plane. So I got to have, like you said, like that base of like, everyone's done that before where you're like, I'm drinking tonight and I really want to feel it. So I'm not going to have a heavy meal. So I'm going to do like a layer of like chips or like almonds or like a piece of toast so that I feel the alcohol, but I don't throw up from having nothing on my stomach.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah. People have done that.
People have done that. I'm like, oh, wait, is that just me?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's my own thing.
No.
I don't know.
I wouldn't recommend that, but
what I was going to ask too, like just to further tear this guy down, what does he do for a living? I noticed like he had some books in his Twitter banner. Is he an author?
He's an op-ed writer for the New York Times. And I want to say, so oh, this is great. He has a book coming out on October 24th called How to Know a Person: The Art of Seeing Others Deeply and Being Deeply Seen. David, you've been deeply seen over the last couple days, and I don't know if you like it. I don't know if you like being deeply seen anymore.
And he left he hasn't deleted the tweet yet, obviously.
Nope, he also hasn't tweeted since then.
That's such an interesting little experience. Like, you would think someone like him was like, just delete it. Like, you're getting torn apart. Like, you're not making, I guess you're making a stand being like, the economy is terrible. But, like, you're also exposing yourself on multiple levels. Like, you're exposing yourself as a picky eater. You're exposing yourself as someone that gets a double freaking bourbon or whatever that was in an airport, which granted, everybody drinks in the airport, right? So that's not that crazy of a deal. But, like, to just tweet it.
But
like, you still, like, to tweet it and just be like, this is what I'm drinking. It's aggressive.
You can also do a little mental math. $78, 80% of his bar tab was the meal. So I think the burgers and fries was 17. So 78 minus 17 is 61. So he spent $61 on whiskey.
Yeah.
So that's because he's probably drinking top shelf. I work for the New York Times. I don't drink Maker's
it's like
Mark.
Macallan, isn't that like the top shelf like Macallan?
So it's a Scotch.
Oh, my bad.
But yeah. He was drinking. Don't roll your eyes at me. I mean, do you want me to give the listeners incorrect information?
No, it's all the same.
Yeah,
to me.
Macallan's my favorite Kentucky bourbon. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right.
But so I think what this reminds me of too, it would take me a minute to find, but Chris Haynes, sorry. I think it's Chris Haynes, right? He's a anchor on NBC.
No, I don't know who that is.
MSNBC anchor. What is this guy's name? Chris Hayes. Yeah, so this guy, I'll share my screen really quick and show you this guy. It didn't get like as big, but I do find it like just as funny as this guy. So this is Chris. You ever seen this guy?
Oh yeah, I recognize him now, for sure.
Yeah, so he's a MSNBC anchor. He had a tweet like about a year or so ago where he's like, "This is just like these are the people that run the country." Essentially, like this is like these are the powerful people that like get all the access and make all the decisions, right? So this guy Chris Hayes, he's like, it was like Friday afternoon and it feels so weird to not be in the office. I'm gonna enjoy this. And he's like, I'm gonna have a pint and work on my book. And so it's a picture of him like at some New York table, and he's like got his laptop there and he's writing, but there's no pint, like there's no drink. And he's like, I'm enjoying a pint. And then the next picture he posts the pint. What was he drinking? Take a guess. What was his pint? It wasn't beer.
Red wine?
It was an Aperol Spritz.
A pint of Aperol Spritz?
It's not a
Holy
pint,
shit.
dude.
Oh,
Like,
so it wasn't even a pint. It was just one Aperol Spritz.
no, it was an Aperol Spritz in a pint glass. I want to say.
Oh, damn. That's pretty aggressive. Aperol Spritz are strong.
I wouldn't know.
I've never had one either, but I know what it's like. It's like one of those drinks where it's multiple types of alcohol. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like
I've had Aperol before.
hang on, let's see.
Well, I don't think so. I think an Aperol Spritz, it's just Aperol with sparkling water and some fruit, isn't it?
So it's Aperol, which is Aperol is alcohol.
liqueur,
Yeah. Aperol and Prosecco.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it's like one of those
Yeah.
combo drinks.
But still, it's like this guy just wanted to be cool so bad for one afternoon. Like, I'm just like y'all. I'm gonna go down to the bar and have a pint.
Yep.
But it's like that New York elitist brain is still like, but I don't really want beer. That's gonna upset my stomach.
Right.
So can I get what's the, it like opens the New York Times, like goes to the drink section, like what's the drink of the year in 2022? The Aperol Spritz.
Definitely.
I'm gonna get an Aperol Spritz.
Definitely.
And it's like $20, and he probably didn't even finish it. He's like, well, this is what the country's drinking.
He's like,
It's like
he
classic, just coastal elite. Like,
yes.
you are the ones who tell people what's going on, but you're in such a bubble that like you have no idea what's going on. Really.
Yeah, and it's like you want so badly to like seem like you're just a normal guy getting a pint, and it's like you couldn't even fake. You're so rich. It's like you couldn't even fake like order a beer just for appearances. Like you couldn't even order a beer just for the tweet.
But I think he would be like he would go. I almost want to believe that he wanted to get a beer, and then he walked in and he's like, what do people say? What do you have on tap? And they're like, Yingling, High Life, Mick Ultra, Miller Lite. And he's like, I don't know what any of those are.
Yeah.
Just give me an Aperol Spritz.
Definitely.
They're like,
no,
okay.
definitely. Classic New York. Classic New York.
Yeah. So, David Brooks, you were seen as a person. So, I wonder if this is gonna, maybe buy his book. Comes out October 24th.
Yeah, I'm
You
like,
know what?
screw,
Like, buy-
screw throwing a glass. I'm buying David Brooks' book for my 6-hour drive. I want to know how to see people and to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, clearly struggling a bit for money because he's dropping, burgers and fries cost $78 in this Joe Biden economy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, you gotta support your favorite authors and artists.
Absolutely.
So go buy David Brooks' book, pre-order it. I think he's got a whole series. I saw like 3 or 4 books behind. But I don't know if those are planned sequels. Maybe he's building a little cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Help David Brooks
So
and the
maybe
economy
check it out.
by buying his books. He's gonna like reach out
For
to
every
us.
for every dollar spent on David Brooks' books goes back to decreasing the price of burgers and fries at the Newark airport.
Yeah, it's a good charity.
It's a worthy cause. Yeah.
It's a worthy cause.
All right. So, Kathleen, anything else? Any final thoughts before we conclude?
No, my computer's about to die anyway, so better end it before we lose it. Better end it before we lose it all.
Okay, great. So thank you guys for listening. If you're listening on Spotify, please give us 5 stars and consider telling your friends and sharing us. If you're on YouTube, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you for watching for the video. It takes a long time to do this. We have some clips coming out this week on the YouTube. And thank you for Glazed Eyes letting us use their single Way Down and off their upcoming album. And follow us on Instagram and TikTok and watch our clips and play us out. Was that fast enough?
Yeah, that was perfect. That was really impressive, actually.
Thank you. All right. Well, play us out. Later, guys.